Hello, guys. How are you? Right. Today I want to share the resources. Right. I want to share resources, which is the file and the page. Right. I remember talking about resources. That resources, they're sort of like static. These are just resources, as in the name of a resource. Where student just goes in and gets a resource from the what, from the course without interacting with the system. Your activities, you actually interact with the system. Like, for example, an assignment, a student interacts by handing in the assignment. Right. I think that is the basic difference between your resources and your activities. Right. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create an extra topic section. I'm going to create an extra topic section um, called resource. Right. I'm going to create an extra topic section called resource. Right. I'm going to create an extra topic session called resource. Sorry. I got distracted there. I was looking at my phone. Right. So I'm going to go onto the edit mode first. Right. For me to be able to edit my course. Here I'm assuming that we are already in our course. Right. Altogether. So here what I want to do is to first of all add another what? My remember my course is in week format. So I'm going to get another week. I'm going to add another week. Right, and then I'll just call this week resource. Right, I'll just call this week resource. Right, resources. Right, and then I press my enter. Right, so which means I have added my what, my resources. So as you can see, I'm able to add activities or resources under the the topic. Right, but I don't want my resources to be at the end, so I am going to move them to the top. Right, I'm going to move them to the top. Right, so I'll move them after overview of the course. Right, where I got overview of the course and I've got my resources, because I want my student. I know this is a soft-based learning, so I want my students to have all the resources at the same time. Right, after the resources, um or let me move it after syllabuses. I think if a student has got a syllabus, then they can start talking about what, about resources. Right, okay. So I've got my top my resources before, after the syllabus. The student gets the syllabus, gets the resources, and then they delve into the course. Right, so I want to add a file under resources. I'll go to add an activity to a resource. Right, altogether I'll add an active to a resource, and then I am going to pick out my file. I'm going to pick out my file. Right, I'm going to pick out my file. I'm going to choose the name of the file. What can I call it? Right, let me just call it training manual. Right, let me just call it training manual. Right, in description. Right, I'll just tell the student, please click on the above on the above to download the training manual. The training manual. Right. Why do I give these instructions? Here, I'm not saying my students are extraordinarily stupid, but what I'm saying is that sometimes these students are at home. They'll look at training manual and just look at it, and then you get a phone call asking, "What do I do?" You see what I mean? So that's why I always go ahead and I give that description, and then I'll say display description in course, right? And then I go and select my file. Where can I get my file? I'll just look. Let me just. I hope. Okay, I'll just pick out a PDF file there, right? Okay, I'll just pick up a PDF file. No, that's my bank statement. Right, let's see. Okay, let me just pick out the thematic report guidelines and then upload that. Right. No, I don't mind people seeing the files that I've got. I'm not carrying nuclear secrets on my laptop. Right, and then we upload the file. Right, and then we now move to the appearance. Right. Here, display is automatic, right? You can check embed in frame, but I want to force the student to download this, right? I want to force the student to download this. Normally, I don't like to showing the share, the size, type, and modify date, etc. I'll leave those empty, right? These I usually just sometimes just leave, right? These are basically, I don't want to add any restrictions for this one, right? Unless of course the doctor says we should add restrictions, right? And then completion conditions, right? uh, I want to be able to track my students' progress. I want to be able to monitor. So I will say students must manually mark. I don't want them to manually mark, right? I don't want them to manually mark because I mean, students being students, they'll simply mark it as being done, right? I want the student to at least view the activity. I won't set a reminder, right? I want them to at least view the activities, the tags, the competence, all of these. I'll leave them like that, and then I'll say save and return to course. Why? Because I still want to add my page. All right. So there I have gone ahead. I have added my resources, right, which is my training manual. Please click above to download the training manual. Like I said, I'm afraid my students will just stay at that training manual and not know what to do it. Now I need to add a page, right? I'll add an activity resource and then I look for my page. These are in alphabetical order, by the way, or if I want, I can come here and say I want to see my resources only, right? I can recommend, I can say all, right? And then I go to the page. A page is just like a web page within a course, right? Altogether. So let me just say this one, the page I'm going to say about your tutor, right? Altogether. Once again, I know a lot of people will say why. I will say click on the above, on the above, to know more about your tutor, to know more about your tutor. And then I'll come in and I'll say display the display description. If I want to bold that, I'll bold it, and then display description on course page. And then now we now need the what? We now need the content of the page. We now need the content of the page. This can be anything from an image, a video, notes, what, a link. All of those can fit in there, right? So here, what I'm going to do is I am going to add, right, an image of myself. I will, please don't. I'm not a narcissist. It's not the vanity. I don't know. Let me just add my picture without talking too much. Right, I'll put my picture there. Right, I'll put my picture there. Right. Okay. Like I've always said, my internet always tends to disappoint me when I'm doing these courses. So it's a bit unfortunate preparing image, but the image is coming up. The image is coming up. The image is coming up. All right, too. Right. So this image is decorative only. This has to be there. Right. When someone can't see it, I'll just leave that one alone. Right. Let me just say custom size. Right. No, let me just leave it at original size. Right. And then I will save. Right. And my pug is there. Right. I hope it's going to come out looking nice. Right. And then appearance, display, page description, display last modified date. This one I would want the students to know that. Right. And then we want to go to your core module settings. Like I said, your restrict access, that's for another day. Right. And then we go to completion conditions. I always add requirements. I want them to view the activity. At least I want the system to say, okay, you viewed the activities. We can see exactly what you're doing. Right. Altogether. So here you can see that I've added my training manual. When I click on it, it downloads, and I've added a page about your tutor. Right, it's worth it to note that look at the icons. The icons are totally different for the page and the file. Right, so that is an indication of what is on that page. I'll go ahead and I will remove editing, check my course again, right, altogether. Altogether, right, and then basically say thank you very much for listening to me. This is my take